Morning, my name's Mick. I'm a personal trainer. I'm also a wellness coach. Today I'm going to be going through doing a range of motion warm-up. Doing warm-ups or preparing the body for some exercise, be it a push-up challenge, an adventure race, getting ready for an ultra marathon, going out for just a jog from here down to the local corner store. Having a little bit of range of motion just helps get the body moving, particularly if it's been a cold morning or the body's feeling sore or stiff from a training session on the previous day, or it may even be that you've just been sitting down at the desk in the office and you're feeling somewhat cramped. I'm going to run through a range of motion warm-up. A range of motion is taking a joint through a range of motion where you're not loading it with a weight or some external force. It's just moving the joints around. It is a light form of stretching. It's a great form of stretching for a warm-up where you're not doing anything ballistic, which could kind of tear a cold muscle fiber, or doing a static stretch where the body's not quite ready for it. So I'm starting from the top. You might just do some simple side to side with the head, then moving it down to some shoulder work, going with some freestyle, getting some big range of motion there. If your shoulders are really tight, you might do a smaller range of motion where you're not taking the elbows up quite as high, going forwards, doing some where you're going backwards as well. Again, you can take that right up high, or you can be doing that with the elbows down lower. Now start bringing in a little bit of trunk range of motion, just still working with the shoulders with a reach going from side to side. Each one, you might just do 5-10 seconds, you might take it up to 20 seconds, just getting some movement there. If you start moving through a range and you're like, oh yeah, that feels tight, you might do a little bit of extra movement just on that. Okay, next one, spiral rotation. We're going from palm up to palm down, twisting the arms in opposite directions, shifting the weight from one side across to the other side, transferring the weight across, really loosening up through the shoulders and across the upper back. Next one I'll get into, just doing a little bit of flexion extension through the trunk and moving the arms backwards and forwards. You can slow this down and do it in time with breathing. I'm breathing out. I'm breathing in as I open the chest up, breathing out again. And generally I'll get into a big rotation through the trunk where I'm letting the feet move, bring the toes up, coming up onto the toe. Again, this can be something that can be smaller range of motion and moving slower, or it can be something where you're moving right through the full range of motion, doing a big twist side to side. Come down from that, I'll go onto the hips, doing some circles with the hips where I'm rolling around, transferring the weight around on the legs. Going through, doing both directions. If you do feel jammed up through the hips, you might increase that range of motion with doing some where you're going from side to side, loosening the hips up. You might do some where you're tilting forward and backwards. You tuck the tail back between the legs and then you push that bum back out, just trying to get some lumbar spine and hip kind of flexion extension there. Now I'll start going through legs. So on the legs, getting some heel curls. Again, this can be a slow movement and it can be a smaller range of motion. If you've been doing heaps of stair work or you've been doing a lot of squats, you might go nice and slow on that. I'll get some external rotation in at the hips. A lot of people do this before a soccer or a football or any kind of agility based sport. It could be basketball. It might even be kind of probably run on, have a game of tennis or netball. I go feet wide, lunging side to side, range of motion warm up through groin, working down through inner thigh. It can be a small shift, or it may be the case after you've done a few of them, you start reaching over towards the side. Then moving on to my hamstrings, I'm going to go a leg out to the front and reach on forward. Change the leg, reach on forward. And it could be scooping something up, you're picking up a basket, but it's all with hip tilt, which is different to a back bend. I'm trying to get the pelvis to tilt forward. Some people do this static and they'll just come down, 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 down. and bring it back up. Now each time they go down, going down just a little bit further, a little bit further, a little bit further. Having a tiny bit of knee bend there can be fine, as long as you're getting those hips tilting. If I'm going to go off and do some trail runs or something like that, I also do some range of motion with my ankle. If I've got the toe point on the ground, I'm just rolling the ankle around, working through both sides. Okay, so team, that's just a quick range of motion warm-up. Working from the head, coming all the way down, working through the different joints. You can do more than what I did, you can do less. You can do it specific to what you're about to do, or you can go through and warm up the entire body. From finishing your range of motion, you might go on and do some static stretches, or you might start doing some agility skills, or whatever sport specific, with what you're about to get into. It's good to have the body warmed up when you're doing your stretching. It may be the case that you've just had a hot shower and then you do some range of motion warm up, or you've just had a short little walk. You're about to take off and do your run. You have a short little walk. You do some range of motion stretching. You have a short run. Maybe do a couple of extra static stretches, and then you get back into it. If you're doing a push-up challenge or something like that, it may be the case that you do a set and you do some upper body range of motion work. Then you do another set and then you do some more. You do another set, you do some static stretches, and you just keep building and building. Team, that's it for me for range of motion warm up. You can do it in lots of different areas. Give it a try. Helps the body to feel great.